Instagram, but if you're on Instagram, head over to our YouTube so that you can see our screen and join the chat. Okay, so by finally, I mean that it has been a 4-hour wait for us to go live here because the guy who is picking in front of us, Potaruski, yet again is holding us up. If you've been following along with this draft, then you know that that's the case.
The pick is in, and we are on the clock.
Yeah, so the pick is in, but not because that person made it, but because the commissioner had to force it. So let's get our screen open. That's incredible. I can't believe all 4 hours were used there. That's just crazy to me. Okay, let's share my screen here so that we can see what's going on. Tua was the forced random pick. I missed what was said in the chat here.
So basically, he takes the top 10 left on the best available according to what's on the available list on Sleeper, and he uses a random number generator 1 through 10, and whatever number it comes up with, he goes down that many people, and that's who they get.
Yep. So
that's how he does the rando. So we're on the clock. Yep. Let's make our pick here, and then we'll recap.
Cool. Yep. So let's go to our watch list here, and
because I don't want to keep them waiting.
Yep. We are picking Trey Sermon. So he went to San Francisco, and the pick is in. There we go. Kyle, why did we pick Trey Sermon?
Well, we love Trey Sermon. One, it's a homer pick because he used to be a Sooner. But also, he is going into San Francisco where they have an aging Raheem Mostert who cannot stay healthy. And let's see, who else do they have? Jeff Wilson, he's more of a short, power kind of guy. He's not a workhorse. So Sermon has, a clear path to a full workload pretty much out of the gate. He might sit a year behind Mostert or until he gets hurt anyways. But, this late, he's literally him, and you saw on our watch list there, Ronald Jones are the only two running backs left that are not backups. So we had to take one, and being a dynasty, you want the young guy with the most upside. Ronald Jones, I don't feel like that job security's there. But we love Trey Sermon. JaMycal Hasty, that's the other one I couldn't remember. So yeah, he's got the clearest path to the biggest workload in a very run-centric offense. So
yeah, that was my thing. Is it's a very run-centric offense. I mean, it's the best spot. They want to use running backs. They want to use maybe even multiple running backs. So he might get a chance sooner than we all think. So, I like that about him. I think he was in a really good situation of the ones that were left. So let's go through that really quick. Let's go back over here and look at our draft board. Since our pick of Sermon has been Mark Andrews and Jerry Jeudy, so we're just kind of flying through them there. Ben is on again. So we may not get to pick again while we're on this because it's got to go through here and it's got to go through Potaruski again before
trade offers floated out there.
Do we want to go catch people up on how the board has gone since our last stream first? Or
I was trying to look here and see which so 2021 7. I think one of one of them, I think. Sorry, train of thought. I think did one of the trades we were trying to get just go? One of the picks?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, the Omaha 7.
Yeah. Yep. That was, I think, one we were trying to get. No. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
We have an offer out there from Omaha for his 7th, but he didn't even own his own 7th. So
No.
what happened?
I don't think that was a thing. I don't think we offered anyone their 7. I think we were going for 8s.
Is this an old offer? Let me refresh.
The one that is on there now?
Sometimes. Okay, see, I'm still showing 2, so I still have an old offer up on my deal here. I refreshed my page.
Interesting.
Now I'm with it. Yep, I just show the 1 now. All right, my fault. Back to the recap.
I was like, my screen, which is right there, shows 1. So I was really confused.
I was thinking we had an offer out for a 7, and then I was like, wait, did they just pick that one? No. So
no.
Okay.
No.
All right. I think we're now 8th round. Okay, we got a while before we get to that. So yeah, let's recap here real quick.
Well, okay. So it looks like there's some offers. These people are trying to come up with something. Jay Cleve looks like they're trying to make some. Jay Cleve's after Ruler of the World. Looks like he's after one of these here.
7.9 there, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know that we want to make any of these moves. You want to look for trades really quick before we recap people, but I feel like they need to be recapped so they know what's available on the board. Let's recap really freaking fast.
Yeah, like I think our first offer here is what, 8th round, Evwit, so 8.3. So we got like 6 picks to kind of figure it out. Ben's got an offer out, it looks like, so we got a minute. So
perfect. Okay.
Last night, I guess we left off. Sanders was the last pick. Is that right? And then Poderowski came in this morning and got Robinson.
Yes. Yep.
So that's how we started the day, with Allen Robinson, Jamar Chase, which was a little bit early, I think, for my liking, but he really likes him and he really wanted him. And get your guys. That's what we keep saying, right? Get your guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you want him and your pick isn't coming up for a little bit, grab your guy, because he wasn't choosing again. I mean, he wasn't choosing again till he only had to wait there. So it wasn't a long pick, but if that's who you want, that's who you want.
Mm-hmm. We were actually predicting he would take Josh Allen with that one. He ended up taking him a couple picks later with his turnaround pick. But, so we grabbed Hunt because running backs got real thin real fast.
Absolutely. Hunt was easily the best running back available at that time.
Yeah, last night there was a run that pretty much took the other running backs we were looking at. So Waller is a good pick right there, I thought.
Yep, I agree.
With Kelsey and Kittle off the board, you got to secure him. And then we'll see a little bit later, Pitts actually also went to the same guy who drafted Kittle. So he's got some tight end firepower.
Yeah.
But yeah, you come back, we got Josh Allen, Carson, Williams, a couple of running backs. Williams got drafted to Denver, so that's actually probably a pretty good little situation there. He got a hold of him. Cooper was a receiver we were hoping to get.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you go down, and then you see a little bit of a run here on quarterbacks. And we were kind of thinking after the Murray pick already, but after Allen, Prescott, Herbert, and Jackson all went in that round, it solidified the strategy we came up with to wait on a quarterback. So we're going to wait. Hopefully we're going to get the guy we want, and then we can just grab a real young guy maybe to sit behind him and put on our bench, and maybe he'll turn into a stud later, maybe like a Fields or Trey Lance or something like that.
We already missed out your high power, top ranked Dynasty quarterbacks, and so now we can just afford to wait,
right,
and fill out the rest of our team.
Exactly. So then DJ Moore went. So we had basically our watch list broken down into tiers, and there was only a couple of guys really left in that top tier of receivers we wanted. We didn't have a pick. Where were we? We were down here at like 6'10", right?
Yeah.
So we ended up trading for these two trades up here. I don't remember the exact trades now off the top of my head. We'd have to go back.
One of them was for our first rounder next year. So we traded our first rounder for 2022, right. And that's how we got this one with here. And then this one here that we got Evans, I actually don't fully recall what that was. Can you see those on your phone of our past ones? Or I guess it'd be over here in this chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can scroll up the chat.
There's been a lot of trades today.
It was something like we swapped 6s and 7s.
Yeah, here it is. This is it right here on screen. Just look here on screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we swapped 6s and 7s with J Cleve here. So that moved us up from 6'10" to this pick here, which was 6'2", and it moved him from 7'9" up to 7'1".
Yeah.
So we just switched 6 and 7s.
Right. And so we snagged up Evans and Ayuk.
Yep.
Which I am very happy with, because I feel like after them was a pretty good drop off at receiver.
Absolutely. I thought we did really good there.
And you can see a couple of desperation running back picks there. Gaskin, Robinson. Devontae Smith is a pretty good receiver pick there. And then you got Burrow, Sutton. Hawkinson he's not quite as high in my book now with Goff instead of Stafford.
Yep.
Kind of the same. It's not the same situation, but I feel the same way about Higgins now that they've drafted Jamar Chase, and maybe he's not as high for me.
Yep.
Galladay catching balls from Daniel Jones versus Matt Stafford. Deontay Johnson I thought was a really good pick. Tua, that's his loss. And then our pick for Sermon here, we traded up with Ruler from 7'9".
Yep.
To 7'4".
From right here is where we were.
Yeah.
Yep. So we had plenty of time here with Poderisky going. He had a 4-hour window. He used every bit of it. So we had plenty of time to pull a trade. We assumed that he wouldn't take Sermon, but also we've had pretty bad luck with that so far in this draft. So, but we didn't know how these other guys would be looking ahead of us, and waiting all the way to 7'9" made us really nervous. So we were able to swap and to move up those spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots only cost us our second round next year. So we're in the hole for next season, but we'll have plenty of time to get those back.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time to make that up.
Yep. So I'm not super worried about that, but I think it helped us a lot. I really wanted Trey Sermon really bad, actually. So
yeah, me too.
Me too. I think that worked out really good for us.
Especially with where we're at in the draft and the lack of options at running back now. Like, I feel really good with him as our third running back, because he'll be able to help us this year. We won't have to wait necessarily. Anybody else we got, we were going to have to pray for an injury, which is evil. But
hey, that's what fantasy does to us, man.
I know, man. And now we don't pick till 9.1, which I would love to try to move that up.
Yep. So our next pick, like Kyle just said, is 9-1. We had previously traded away our 8-10 to Ruler over here. So we have to wait, and we don't even have that back-to-back. So if we could move this 9-1 up to select another player, then we've kind of done this the whole way through of move up little by little. Our late draft picks are kind of moving up little by little. Almost every round, we just kind of move up, back up into it, kind of thing. So it's been a pretty good strategy here for us.
Yeah, it's just a rolling trade up. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but it's worked, and it's kept us engaged. It's been really fun. So the only letdowns are just when we get stalled out on this one guy who just isn't very engaged with it, which is really sad. But I'm glad it's a 4-hour timer and not like our other Dynasty League where it's an 8-hour timer, which will begin in the next 2 weeks probably. I think we're going to wait till after Mother's Day weekend to begin that draft.
I think that'd be smart.
Yeah, so and we'll stream those picks just like we have been this one. So this one we would have been able to stream a lot more of it if it wouldn't have always come to a stop at that single person. That person has ruined being able to stream this for you guys better so that you can kind of keep up with it, watch the trades going on in real time, and see these picks in real time, because otherwise it moves pretty quick. Like this one's almost 15 minutes down. About 15 minutes is about the limit of how long he's trying to get a trade in here. He's probably feeling a lot of offers, but about 15 minutes, I think, is when a lot of these people start feeling of, if I don't have a deal by now, I'm going. So, it's been moving at a pretty good pace otherwise.
I mean,
you can see how far
much longer.
I mean, you can see how far we got it. Robinson was the first pick of the day, and we've made it through multiple rounds, and that's even after waiting 4 hours for this pick right here. Now, Podoriski picked 2 back-to-back here, and that only probably took about an hour probably for him to get on and make those 2 picks.
Yeah, and then he threw his phone away. And then he
turned around and took 4 hours. Yeah, so he's probably taken about 5 hours of the day. So we've moved at a pretty good pace, actually. So would have made for a fun stream, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I got a feeling the other league, when we draft it, will probably be the same way. We'll probably have to stream and recap in chunks. I don't think we'll be able to sit down and draft that one or stream that one the way we'd hoped either.
Yeah, that's okay. And now our other drafts that we get on, those will be really good. Those non-long drafts, where it's just, okay, it's a hour and a half and you're done type thing. Yeah. So we'll be able to get on here, and those will be really fun to watch. We'll do mock drafts and things like that. I feel like we shouldn't do mock drafts in Sleeper because their ADPs are way off, it seems like. So
they're a little odd.
They're not realistic at all. We may run one on here. Kyle, you may run one of those on here just to show how crazy it is. So that could be a little fun, just to kind of compare those mock drafts and show how those go. So
that would be pretty interesting.
Anyways, I bet this one's almost done being done here. Let's kind of explore what we have going. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So here is the offer we have out right now. We have offered for the 8th round
with Evwitt 8.3.
Okay, so we are shooting for his 8.3, which is right here, and we are offering our 9 and 12. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good move for him. Move back 8 and then it gained this 12. I mean, we asked for like a 14 back. Yeah, his 14th rounder. So kind of insignificant. Doesn't really cost him much, but
and he doesn't have a 12 yet.
Well, he doesn't have a 9 because he traded that away, and he doesn't have a 12 because he traded that away, probably in the same trade, it looks like. So it would fill those 2 gaps there for him, which would be helpful. And then we asked for his 14, correct?
Yeah.
But now that's looking like it's with Jay Cleve. Oh, no, we asked for this 14-10. So he's got a 14-10 there. So that's what we're essentially swapping for this 12 is moving our 12 back to 14-10. So that jumps him 20 spots right there, which is really good. And it gains us 8 spots. But we also get to hang on to our back-to-back at our 10-11 turn, which is something we would like to experience. We've only experienced one of our back-to-backs so far with Ridley Hunt. Oh, no, we didn't even do that. That's not how that worked.
We had to trade back for Hunt.
So, well, no, because...
One of them no.
No, this comes this way. Yeah, so they're opposite ends. So this came this way and down. So we didn't even experience a back-to-back there. The only back-to-back we had is here with Evans Ayuk
in the 6th round.
Because we had to make a lot of trades just to make that happen. So, yeah, that wasn't even our typical picks, and that's the only place we've had back-to-backs. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy because we got the number 1 pick. Oh, man, it's going to be nice to have back-to-backs every, and then we literally have had none except for one we traded for in the 6th round.
It's crazy. Yeah, let's look at let's look through some of these rosters really quick, starting with ours.
For like 10-11, I know we have a plan for that. So hopefully we can get back up into the 8th round without getting rid of that back-to-back. That's the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, and then what we do with that pick, we don't quite know yet. We can go over that here in a minute. Let's go through our roster and see kind of what we're needing really quick, and then we can go look through some kind of what's available and what we might be looking at, what we might be interested in. Okay. So, pretty well rounded, man. Let me pull up here. What's our roster? Let me get rid of this here. So roster is quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and then 2 flexes. So you could potentially start 5 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 4 running backs. So there's a lot of flexibility in here, but it's wide receiver pretty heavy. I mean, so, okay, sorry, get back over here. Go ahead. And what do you think about this?
Well, I was just going to say we got, 3 running backs, 3 receivers, and a tight end. Like, we're sitting pretty good. As far, like, our 2nd and 3rd running back aren't necessarily the strongest. I mean, you look at some of the other rosters, they're a little stronger at running back. But the ones that are real strong at running back, their receivers aren't as strong as ours. So I feel like we have probably the most well-rounded roster as far as talent all around. So it'll be interesting to see how the different strategies throughout the league kind of play out through the year, because you got a couple that went, they went running back in their first 3 picks. You got one guy that went 3 receivers in the first 3 rounds. But so that guy, he ended up with David Montgomery, and James Robinson are his running backs. Like, he's going to struggle, but he's got Tyreek Hill, Diggs, and Mike Thomas are his receivers. So it's like his receivers will carry him. Every team's going to have some sort of weakness. Like, our quarterback will be our weakness because we waited.
But and now we took. Here's the thing: people went running back, or wide receivers, whatever. Just to kind of recap, we went with Kelsey because it's a huge positional advantage. Yeah. When you have that top tight end who's outscoring running backs and wide receivers, that the advantage of that is huge. They're not only not scoring like a typical tight end. I mean, they're the top tight end, but they're not even scoring like a tight end. They're scoring above and beyond that. So there's a huge advantage to that. It's not your typical tight end situation.
Kelsey scored like a top 5 receiver last year, and you could put him in your tight end spot.
Yeah. So here's the stats. Code. He was number 17 overall scoring in PPR. Is that including quarterbacks, Kyle?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Here, let me see if no, that's not what I wanted to do. Come on. let's say like Patrick Mahomes. Okay, it says number 4 overall, so I don't think it does. It doesn't include the quarterbacks and stuff in like those PPR rankings.
I think it's just like flex. So running back, receiver,
Perfect.
tight ends.
Cool. So, I mean, number 17 overall.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of receivers ahead of him, a handful of running backs. But, I mean, it's a cheat code to put him in a tight end spot. Like,
I mean, Devontae Adams was number 8 overall, and we all know how incredible he is.
And he was the top receiver. That means there were 7 running backs ahead of him.
Look, Tyreek Hill was number 15 overall PPR.
It's wild.
Right. So when we talk about Kelsey being number 17 overall PPR as a tight end, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage.
Literally the only downside to us taking him over maybe like a Kittle later is the fact that we only are going to have him in this Dynasty format for 2 or 3 solid years before we're going to have to think about moving him. And then we'll have to look at how we acquire one, whether it's through a rookie draft or through a trade that we feel comfortable with after he's off our team. But that's down the road a bit.
I agree.
We don't have to worry about it right now.
But another advantage to Kelsey over Kittle is health and quarterback. There's multiple things here. We know what his situation is going to be. I think we've talked about this on here before. We know whose quarterback is going to be for the rest of his career. And we know that they gel well together. I mean, that is his go-to guy, especially in the red zone. Yeah. So Kittle gonna have a new quarterback. Not sure how that's gonna look. Not sure if he can stay healthy. And we love Kittle even on a personal level. He's from Norman, Oklahoma, so that's close to home for us, and just a hometown boy here in Oklahoma. So always supporting Oklahoma guys. And so he's just not. I just don't feel like he stays healthy enough, and we don't know what his quarterback situation is versus Kelsey.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm fine with all of it overall. But versus Kelsey, those are kind of some of the separators there.
Right. I agree. Totally.
Yeah. So the rest of our roster here, I mean, I feel good about where we're at. So we have our starting tight end. We have our starting running backs in McCaffrey and Hunt, which it's a tiered PPR league. So that works out really well for us. And then Ridley, awesome. Let's see where he was ranked last year. Number 21 overall PPR, number 5 wide receiver. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For as late as we got him, I mean.
Yeah. He did get to play, quite a few games with Julio out also. But even when Julio came back, he was still getting his, he was still racking up points.
Well, he had one game, but he had one game where he has held to 0 catches. Is that this? Which one was that? Remember that? He zeroed out one week.
I don't remember what week.
I don't either, but it definitely happened. Right? Didn't he have 0 catches? I think it's this Green Bay game here.
Might have been.
Because, look, he had projections, and like this Atlanta game here, he was.
Why is Atlanta on his? He plays for Atlanta. What the heck?
Right, I was wondering that same thing. That's weird. But a bye week usually shows like that. It's just dashes all the way across. Or a week where he sits all the way across like that. This one means he played. Oh yeah, he had 5 targets, 0 catches. I mean, he was held to 0 there and still ended as the number 5. So
the dude's
that's pretty good.
I mean, he is a stud, and he will be a stud for quite some time.
Yep. Yeah, I'm all about that. So great value there, I feel like. And then to jump down here, I mean, at this level down here, I mean, we're talking 6th round to be able to get Mike Evans, number 11 wide receiver, Shearer at that quarterback. mean, that's just great value. He's 27, but whatever, that's fine. There are a lot of mouths to feed in Tampa Bay, but there is everywhere. I mean, if
There
we're
was a
being,
lot of miles last year, and look how he did. So
yeah. So I'm not really worried about that. He has a great quarterback throwing to him. It's fine. And then Ayuk is
he's a stud in the making.
incredible.
He is
Gosh,
a stud in the making. That kid is nasty.
this is actually who we were trading up to get. This was actually our goal, was to get Ayuk. And then we were able to go ahead and move our other up and get Mike Evans. So we picked him Evans Ayuk because that's how they were ranked on the next best available. But we wanted Ayuk.
Yeah.
And had we only had one of those picks there, we would have taken Ayuk over Mike Evans.
Right. We wanted Ayuk for sure. Evans just happened to be, along with Ayuk, the last two kind of in that top tier that we wanted in that range.
Yep.
So we decided to make a move and snag him. And I think it was well worth it. I think it paid off. Even now, if we can get back up in the 8, I'd like to, I think, grab another, like a fourth receiver. And I know we've got on our watch list, we've got a handful that would be acceptable there as well. And if that don't work out, we might look elsewhere.
Yeah, so here's what our wide receiver watch list kind of looks like, and we're not really picky about who we get on this. If I'm being completely honest, there's so many of these that
there's a lot there.
There's so much depth here at wide receiver. That's why we wanted to get Sermon while we could, because we knew that wide receivers deep. We're not worried about it. But
yeah, even if we end up sticking at 9-1 and not being able to trade up, we'll be able to get a pretty good receiver there. But I want to get one of these specific ones if we can help it. We'll see.
Gosh, there's just so much. There's just so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we have favorites. We have targets in there that would be our favorites to get here.
Yeah.
But
there's options not on the watch
fine.
list that would be okay too. Like, click off watch list on receivers and let's see who's there that we're not even following. So Waddle isn't a terrible.
Bateman. We know who's going after Bateman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were told. So Ruler picks here in a couple picks here. Let me get this off. Ruler picks here at 7-9, and she, still guessing that it's a she, wants Bateman there. So she's already told us that
maybe
she
we
wants
should
Bateman.
Out other people's future.
You're right. My bad. I forgot about that. No one's watching right now, so
not right now, but they can go back if they wanted.
That's true. Good call.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, she's been talking about her strategy this whole dang time on the
DM
on the chat.
Oh yeah, well, she's trying to steer other people's picks, but I
don't think she has to rush and beat anyone to Bateman, because Baltimore doesn't throw the ball. They have Marquise Brown, who's already a talent, and they don't throw the ball to him. Like, another wide receiver in Baltimore is not going to make a difference.
Right.
If I'm being honest, I mean,
yeah.
This is too high of a ranking for Bateman. In my opinion.
We watched Marquise Brown play at OU in college, and if they can't get the ball to him, they're not going to get it to Bateman either. Like, I don't know.
No, he's electrifying. He's fast and everything. Like Hollywood, that is. Like, he's incredible. Mark Andrews, incredible. They just
don't throw.
Jackson.
There's
they just throw the ball. Yep, they do not throw the ball.
Scroll on
not
down
enough.
a little bit there, and let's see who else.
So if anything, I'm telling Ruler she can wait.
Oh, she can take him, and we can let somebody else slide.
For sure.
We Lockett. If we miss out on everybody else, like, Lockett is not a terrible consolation prize. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about. You get down here, the ones between our watch list guys. Keep scrolling down. Ruggs could end up doing decent. Boyd will get some targets. They're not our favorites, but they will suffice. Fuller,
Yeah. Yep. These guys will.
So there's some guys down here. Marshall, he went to Carolina. He might not be terrible.
Yeah.
But there's some guys, if we happen to miss out on every single buddy else, Devontae Parker. I like Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Then Gallup. You know, these guys would suffice. They're just not our targets.
Totally. Oh, they're usable. That's for dang sure.
Christian Kirk, I think he'll be more than usable.
I mean, we get into some of these late rounds.
Mecole Hardman. I mean,
when you get down into some of these late rounds down here, you'll see, like, once we get down to, around 15, 16, 17, we're going to be picking guys down here. It's going to be like Darius Slayton,
it's going to be
Marvin
rough.
Jones in Jacksonville, Cole Beasley, T.Y. Hilton's way down here, Sterling Shepard. How old is Sterling Shepard? He's 28 now? Goodness gracious.
Dude,
I did not
later
realize.
rounds are going to be so tough. Jeez Louise.
Yep. Because down here also you're getting into some of these guys that they're low on the list because of their age, but they're also maybe competing for targets a little much. Like Sterling Shepard now got bumped way down because he's 28 and now he's competing for more targets. But down in here you might be looking for like Russell Gage, just hoping that Julio Jones retires or gets traded.
He won't retire, but he could.
I know. Traded. I'm just saying. Well, it's a dynasty league, so who knows? Russell Gage is really. Well, he's 25. I didn't realize Russell Gage was 25. Honestly, I thought he was younger than that. So I was thinking. I didn't mean like retire this next year. I meant like
it's only his third year.
3 years out.
He just entered the league older. It's only his third year in the league. So
interesting. There's N'Keal Harry. Interesting. Yeah, it gets kind of interesting down in here. And AJ
Green, he'll catch something from Murray. He's not going to go out there.
Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, I would assume so.
So these guys.
It gets interesting. John Brown with.
Yeah, they'll have 2 or 3 catches.
Oh, I forgot Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins went to Baltimore too.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Jeez. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that one.
There's gonna be a handful of guys down here. You just have to seek them out. Spend a little time.
Travis Fulgham is way down here.
He wasn't there last year.
I know.
Oh God, yeah. There's like a handful down here.
It's interesting.
It's just yeah. You can use those guys. They might get you like 2 or 3 catches in a game for a flex if you need it.
Yeah.
If you get just ravaged by injuries, you could put them in there and get a couple of catches, and that's about it. But
boy, how bad do you have to be to have Josh Gordon ranked ahead of you right now? Like he's not even going to play.
Seriously, like he's not even in this league. He's in a different league.
That's crazy.
It's interesting though. I always thought on like the DraftKings stuff too. You'll see like all these people hurt, and then you'll keep scrolling. You're like, oh yeah, these are great value. Like you got a guy with a broken leg ranked way higher than some guys.
Okay, we have breaking news.
Do we?
Poderowski, apologies for the delay, folks. Won't happen again. He lives, first of all. No, apologies for getting Tua would be more like it. He paid the price for that. So, yeah, should I put the poop? No, I'm kidding. More like surprised to see him.
It's like, yeah, we're just glad you're alive, bruh.
Cool. I'll give it one of those. Yep. So that's good. Maybe this will keep rolling then.
He went scrolling through that chat and was like, oh, they hate me.
Yeah,
Everybody was
yeah,
giving him serious
and
crap in that chat for 4 hours straight.
I was worried that, I mean, I don't know that it came across as bullying. It wasn't that. I think it was obvious that we were giving him a hard time,
We were teasing
and
him about it. There was
but
a
it felt
couple of us
bad because he
being,
wasn't like, I kind of wanted him to come back at us with something, to kind of let us know, like, okay, you get that we're teasing you, giving you a hard time, kind of thing. But he never did. So hopefully he just knows that. I mean, it is annoying, and it's more disappointing because you get we've been so excited for this. We get in this groove, we're making trades and stuff, and then for it to all just kind of get shut off is really heartbreaking. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
well,
So
and for me now, it's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it because it's literally happened every time he's been on the clock. Like, it wasn't just this pick. We've been waiting on him the entire draft. So it hasn't been 4 hours every time, but it's been at least an hour every time, and everybody else
at
is
least,
like, except
well,
I don't
this
know
one right
what's
now,
going on with Ben all of a sudden. He must be getting like a ton of offers because he's usually not this slow. And he was just in the chat
that's
and
strange.
stuff, so he must be getting a bunch of offers and stuff that he's.
Yeah, let me go back over here to the chat because I know Jake Leaves trying to. Oh no, he just said on the clock. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he's just getting stuff. We don't really have anything that we can trade to get into the 7th round here, because that would take us getting rid of our. Yeah, it would just take too much.
It would.
And I don't want to pay that price.
We can get into the 8th without giving up our 10-11 back to back, but we can't get in the 7th without it.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't want to give up. I want to experience one of these.
Yeah, I want to keep that back to back. I would love that.
We'll have to wait till pick 100 to experience our first back to back, but. Oh my gosh.
It is what it is.
Oh, it's fun is what it is. It's been really fun. These guys, this league is been super active trading. I mean, look at this. Look at all of these trades through here. I mean, it's awesome.
And some of them have traded multiple times. They've just ended up, But
yeah. So this isn't even all the trades.
But like, if we move 9 up, or if we just stay where we're at 9-1, like, get us a receiver, get our guys at 10-11, you probably won't see as much trading after that because the talent pool is going to be so thin that it's really not that important to need to move around that much. So I'm guessing
well, I actually
quit trading quite so much.
I actually, yes and no. I see a lot of trades just in years past where a lot of people do kind of like we did with our 6-7 earlier. People make those easier trades like that where it's just like, oh, I want to move up here, then move back here. So they're kind of simpler trades, but I feel like people still do it because maybe you see that one person that you have been looking at in the off season and you're like, oh, I'd like to take a shot on them, and they may not make it to me. So,
yeah,
but people are more loosey goosey. Those are quicker trades because people aren't wanting those picks quite as much. They're not trying to collect them and hold on to them as much. So those trades go a lot quicker, but I think those have to happen 10th round and on, I think is kind of where you get into that.
Yeah. You'll see quite a few more trades here in the next couple rounds. But yeah, after 10 or so, I don't think we'll see as many. Certainly won't take as long to sort them out.
But honestly, I mean, there's still so many guys on the board that people are getting very, very useful players for a few more rounds here. I mean, we probably don't start dart throws until, a few down in here, almost maybe 11 or 12. Depends on it. It depends on if people are going with rookies or if they take some of these veterans, because some of these veterans are very useful this year. It just depends on your strategy.
Yeah, and I suppose it did seem like there was like a great abundance of fantasy relevant rookies that got drafted. Like, there was a handful, but the rest just kind of went to situations where they're just not going to get a ton of work right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about like Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, he's going to be a great handcuff for McCaffrey, but
yeah,
you know.
Oh, I'm sure he's not super excited about that landing spot, but
he's probably ticked off.
But I mean, Chuba Hubbard, I was reading up on him earlier. Apparently his 40 time wasn't too good, things of that sort. He had to have some surgeries and stuff, and he just wasn't the same after OSU beat him up. They used and abused him. So
yeah,
he was that was their talent. What little talent OSU has, they used it. Oklahoma State, that is, not Ohio State.
He's going to be so unhappy there. He'll probably like tweet out a Photoshop picture of his coach with a News Network T-shirt on or something like.
They're like, "See, I won out here." Yeah, he's just. He probably went late in the draft because he's Canadian, and everyone's like, they don't know anything about football, so. So, yeah, I'm feeling good about our position now. If we can get up into the 8th round here, with a trade like what we have out here, like we're offering a 9-12.
I wish he would respond
for an 8-14. Then I feel like that's a deal I'd be willing to do. I'm willing to move in these later rounds. He might not want to move that 10-11.
He might be waiting until that pick's on the clock before he decides if he wants to trade it to us or not. See who's there.
I'm sure he wants to know who's available there. Yeah. So, and he'll know then.
The later you get, the harder it gets to kind of predict because people start jumping around in the rankings.
Right. To fill spots in their roster and get guys they like.
The further along you get in the draft, the more they tend to wait until the pick's on the clock to see who's there before they make a decision. The first 2 or 3 rounds, you pretty much know who's going to be available.
Yep. And but at that point too, he'll be able to be at that 8-3, moving to 9-1, and he'll be able to count like, well, as a guy I'm interested in, like, do I have 8 players that I'm interested in and I'd be willing, you can kind of count that and know more at that time. So so I don't blame him for wanting to wait on that. We offered that back here when 7-3 was on the clock, so that was 10 picks ahead of time, and so it was a little early for that probably at this point, but we at least wanted it out there because sometimes he's moved really quick. This morning he made 2 trades really quick, one to Jay Cleve and then one to us, all within like 10 minutes. So he was collecting first round draft picks for next season, getting that draft capital.
I'm hoping whatever Ben is up to here, he wraps up pretty soon so we can get moving again.
This is stalling out.
We went 3 picks and stalled again for 45 minutes now. Like, I really thought we were going to be able to get through some deals and maybe work a trade while we were on here. But it's looking like we might have to wait again, folks.
Always a letdown here. Not sure what's going on.
I can't believe it. We can never go more than 3 picks, 2, 3.
And what's weird about this? What's weird about this is Ben is a co-manager. So if he's not available, his co-manager is, I would assume. So that's another pair here because that's how me and Kyle are co-managing. So there's always someone available to make the pick. Speaking of co-managing, me and Kyle were talking earlier about how happy we are, how fun this is to be co-managing a team for the first time. It really is a good time getting to strategize. You kind of compared it to just a real front office where we have to make these decisions together.
It's like we're an owner and GM in an actual war room drafting together, trying to talk out decisions and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Am I the owner or the GM? Am I the owner? since my name's on the team, I guess.
Jerry Jones. You're the Jerry Jones. You want to
Cool,
trade everything.
that's fair.
You want to trade everything for Zeke.
Hey, I am trying that. I'm trying to trade for Zeke
Jones
right now.
over here going, is that the smartest move though?
Actually, you were like, yeah, get him. I would do that for Zeke.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Kyler Murray one that I was like, no, I don't think we need to make that move. And you're like, oh, I need to add a 12th. Is that what you said?
Yeah, every time you said no, I added a pick. It went from like two picks to you said, no, I don't think so. So then you add a pick there. And then you say, no, I don't think it. And I had, you need to add a pick. So, yeah, I was just kind of trolling there. But it is fun. And it's kind of advantageous if there's certain personalities and ways of playing that wouldn't be fun to co-manage. But me and Kyle, we play with the same kind of strategy and thoughts a lot of the time where it's weird because he'll be like, hey, if this person's gone, then we move this and then this. And I'm like, yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Let's move up to this pick. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we think a lot there, but we also play at the same pace, which means if we're searching for or if we're looking for a trade or something, if we're working a trade with someone, we want to do it as quick as possible. I know what I want. I know what I need. Let's get in here. Let's shoot some offers back and forth and get it done. I'm not going to sit here and spend 50 minutes working a deal. At that point, I'm just like, no, if we can't work the deal, we're done, So, yeah, we work kind of same pace. And then once we agree upon it, we agree upon it. Whereas some people want to just keep pushing for more. You kind of agree on something and then they're like, oh, well, apparently I didn't offer or I didn't get enough if it was that easy to make the pick. And so they push for more. And then you kind of agree to that and then they push for more and it just drags out the whole process. And me and Kyle don't work like that. It's shake hands, get it done, move on.
Yeah, a lot of people have this mentality like, oh, well, if he accepted it that fast, then it must have been too good of a deal or I didn't ask for enough. So let me push for it's like, no, we just know whether we want it or not pretty much right when we see it. Like our mind processes these things to the point where it's like, we just know whether it's a good deal or whether it's not that quick. Like it has nothing to do. Even if we overpay for crap all the time and still accept it like that if we want it because we know how much we're willing to overpay going into the offer.
That's the thing. Before the offer is ever made, before the trade talk ever starts, I have in my mind what I'm actually willing to pay. And I know how badly I actually want that move to take place. So that if they ask for a little more, I already know whether or not I'm going to give it. So yes, they may be asking me to overpay, and I'll make that decision quickly because the decision was actually already made before I even started the trade talk, typically. So that's why that can go quickly is because I already know what I'm willing to pay and how badly I want that move.
Right.
Because I've already thought it out before starting trade talk. So
yeah, you got to know. Yeah, exactly. You got to know your limit and you got to be ready to walk away if you don't get it and not keep giving more because then you get yourself in trouble.
Yep.
Then you trade yourself into a hole like some of these people have.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to get off here and I guess go spend some time with my family since this stalled out. Sorry, guys. This happens every time we stream. Every time we get on here to go through this, but luckily we needed to catch you guys up anyways, let you know the trades we had made, the picks we had made, and kind of show you the board and where everything's at. And yeah, we'll just keep you updated here and there. So maybe we'll be on back later tonight to get you guys caught up.
If it gets moving again, we'll try again. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we thought jumping on here at the end of Potaruski's pick was going to be safe, and apparently it was not.
Yeah,
cool.
We were incorrect.
Yep. Alrighty. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yep. See y'all next time.